When she walked, she strode, swinging her arms from the shoulders. She was a laugh, my ma. She and I slept together in a truckle. We used to sing together getting off to sleep in that room over the river. A very pretty, cracked voice she had. But a man came sometimes, and then I had to go next door and keep in one end of a big tumbled old feather bed, with the small naked feet of very young children pushing up the blankets on either side of my head, and the fleas feasting on me. The man that came to see my mother wasn't my father. My father was a sailor who died before I was born, so Ma said, but she never said much. This man was a long, thin, wild-eyed streak of a thing with a mouth of crooked teeth and deft feet that constantly tapped out rhythms as he sat. I suppose he must have had a name, but I never knew it. Or if I did, I've forgotten. It doesn't matter. I never had anything to do with him, or he with me. He came when she was humming over her sewing one day. Some sailor's pants gone in the crotch. Threw her down upon the floor and started kicking her and calling her a dirty whore. I was scared. More scared, I think, than I'd ever been before. She rolled away, hitting her head against the table leg. Then up she jumped, screaming blue murder, that he was a bastard and a fly boy, and she'd none of him no more, flailing with her short, strong arms and both fists balled for punching. "Liar!" he roared. I never knew he had a voice like that, as if he was twice as big. "Liar!" "You call me a liar," she screeched, and went for the sides of his head, grabbing him by both ears and bashing his head about, as if it was an old cushion she was shaking up. When she let go, he wobbled. She ran out onto the walkway, hollering at the top of her voice, and all the neighbour women came out at a run with their skirts hoiked up, some with knives, some with sticks or pots, and one with a candlestick. He dashed out amongst them with his own knife drawn, a vicious big stabber, raised over his shoulder, damning them all as whores, and scattering them back as he ran for the bridge. "I'll get you, you bitch," he yelled back. "I'll get you and I'll cut out your lights." That night we ran away. Well, that's how I remember it. Possibly it was not that night. Possibly it was a few days or a week later. But I remember no more of Bermondsey after that. Only the brightness of the moon on the river as I followed my mother barefoot over London Bridge, to my second birth. I was 8 years old. I know we came in time to the streets about Ratcliffe Highway, and there I met the tiger. Everything that came after followed from that. I believe in fate. Fall of the dice, drawing of the straw. It's always been like that. Watney Street was where we came to rest. We lived in the Crow's Nest at Mrs Regan's house. A long flight of steps ran up to the front door. Railings round the basement area enclosed a deep, dark place where men gathered nights to play cards and drink strong liquor. Mrs Regan, a tall, worn woman with a pale, startled face, lived under us with an ever-changing population of sailors and touts. And upstairs lived Mr Reuben, an old black man with white hair and a bushy yellow moustache. A curtain hung down the middle of our room, and on the other side of it, two old Prussian whores called Mary Lou and Silky snored softly all day long. Our bit of the room had a window looking over the street. In the morning, the smell of yeast from the baker's opposite came into my dreams. Every day but Sunday, we were woken early by the drag of his wheelbarrow over the stones, and soon after by the market people setting up their stalls. Watney Street was all market. It smelled of rotten fruit and vegetables, strong fish, the two massive meat barrels that stood 3 doors down outside the butcher's, dismembered heads of pigs sticking snout upwards out of the tops. Nowhere near as bad as Birmingham.